Week 6 of college football is in the books, but we're going to go back, take a look at what draft-eligible prospects helped their stock and hurt their stock. Welcome to the Stock Report, and what's crackalacking? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content as always. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, where we have that nice, beautiful football discourse. I want to start off with a bit of a heartbreaker for me, and it's Tyler Van Dyke, quarterback out of Miami. Now, to be fair, I don't think he played a terrible game. It's more of a heartbreaker for me because it's Miami. Miami should have won that game. Mario Cristobal, you suck, sir. You bad. But Tyler Van Dyke, as you can see, he was pretty errant with the football. 3 interceptions. I thought he made some big-time plays, though, through this game. And it's not going to necessarily reflect on the stat sheet, but yeah, like the picks were bad. Like, I think his big time throws were tied with his turnover worthy plays. But all in all, I thought he put his team in a position to win this football game. And I think this was the first game this season we've seen where, okay, maybe accuracy can be a bit here or there through some stretches. And like, you kind of see that, like, he's got this kind of elongated throwing motion, and there are times where, like, he just misses timing, like, legit. Like, yeah, I think the anticipation's there. Just the timing needs to be a bit better when it comes to Tyler Van Dyke getting the ball downfield, because I think the dude has ideal size, 6'4", 230. He's got the arm strength. He plays with zip. He has shown he has the accuracy to make tight window throws, and he's shown that he could throw with a variety of touch. But I do want to see that now that we're in ACC play. They got a big game traveling to North Carolina next week. So even though this one was a downer for me, personally, as a Hurricanes fan, broke my heart. But I think better days are ahead, and I definitely think he's a guy that's trending up, especially considering what last year was. Last year was kind of a debacle. I think he was healthy. He was plagued by a shoulder injury last season. So just someone to monitor. I mean, honestly, there were a few bad quarterback performances this week. We could talk about Sam Hartman. He had 3 interceptions, 6 turnover-worthy plays against Louisville. So I still feel like he's more of a mid-day 3 guy anyway, mid to late. That's kind of where I am with Touchdown Jesus. We got Cameron Ward had a bad game. He was constantly flustered by pressure from UCLA. And this ended up being his worst game of the year. 3 turnover-worthy plays. He had a 56.3 adjusted completion percentage, which takes, if you don't know what adjusted completion percentage is, takes away it takes away drops, takes away throwaways and spikes. So it's the closest you're gonna get to like pinpoint accuracy, and his just wasn't there this past week, as they went on to lose their first game of the season there on the road. But it's not all doom and gloom. Like, Jaden Daniels had a phenomenal game, just continuing to increase his stock. And man, I think we do gotta talk about him in day 2. I don't think he's a guy that I'd put in day 1 personally. I don't think he's ever gonna get that crescendo for me. But like, I'm really feeling better about him. Like, if people liked DTR last year, he ended up being like a 5th rounder, then they should love Jaden Daniels. That's kind of my opinion on it. I think the decision making's better, and in all honesty, I think the accuracy and ball placement's a bit better. Let's talk about this running back class. This running back class needs a little love. Might not have a top guy, but I think Trey Benson did. It was so nice to see him have that breakout game this season. I mean, you could go, oh, he had 3 tutties against Southern Miss. Like, no. He has been pretty silent this whole season. He hadn't eclipsed the game over 79 rushing yards until Virginia Tech. 11 carries, 200 yards, and 2 tutties. I love that word, tutties. I ain't always going to be saying it. So if you got a problem with it, oh well. But Yeah, no, he showed that breakaway speed. He's a guy that is pretty darn good turn through contact. Would like to see him like kind of lower how he runs, like just run a little bit lower, which I thought he did in this game against Virginia Tech. Do want to see him do it against maybe some of the higher echelon ACC schools and not Virginia Tech, which are kind of like circling the drain at this point. But this was a good showing in a running back class that we're just kind of sitting there like, yeah, these are probably all firmly day 2 guys, and I don't know if I even have a guy in the top 50 at this point. Like, who's going to be that top guy? And I think for me, it's probably still going to be Trey Benson. You got the high floor of a guy like Blake Corum, but I do tend to still lean towards my boy Benson. But we're going to keep talking about running backs here. I'm going to go to Kansas, Central Florida. Devin Neil made my preseason top 10 for the running back position. And I think he's done nothing but kind of helped his stock this year. 5'11", 210, had 12 carries, 154 yards against Central Florida there, and had a touchdown. He is that one-cut guy. He's got good speed, very explosive, gets moving in a hurry, knows how to get skinny between the tackles when he needs to. Again, another guy that could hit that home run shot. Really like the foot speed. I mean, he goes from slow to fast in no time. Now, I definitely think probably he's more acceleration and short area quicks than actual long speed. So I think he's probably maybe like a 4.5 guy, which is fine at the running back position. It's more so what he can do with that quickness. And honestly, you get a little more bulk on this guy because he's already had like a decent forced missed tackle rate this season. But you get a little bit more mass on him, a little bit more meat, as long as it doesn't take away from the quicks. And talking about probably an every down back, like legitimately. He has been a work in progress as a pass catcher, but I think he's shown some strides in that. Doesn't have a drop on 16 targets yet this season, so you do love to see that. And someone who is definitely going to make my top 10 once again, because we're going to start pumping out prospect rankings within the next, within this week. This week, you're going to get some of those, so yeah, cool. Listen, I know you love the NFL draft as much as I do, and you're going to want a nice hefty watch list of players during this college football season. Well, go ahead, check out my draft guide. You can purchase it for only $30 by Venmoing or PayPaling me. Links in the description. It's a one-time payment and you get it for this whole draft cycle and forever and always. Technically, it's a Google spreadsheet. So send me your email when you send the payment. I'll get you hooked up. You will see my current prospect rankings and big board, my full evals. And guess what? It updates throughout the whole draft cycle. So it's a great purchase and it's a great way to support the channel. Let's stick with the running back position. Talk about Jonathan Brooks. I think I finally want to just sit down and do a proper eval on him. Because I like him. I'm a little curious if he really does come out this season. That I'm not sure of, because he turns 21, I think, next July. So he's very young. Like, if you're unfamiliar with Jonathan Brooks, coming in at 6 foot, 207, had a stellar game against Oklahoma, and I'll tell you why in a sec. But he's former 4-star from the 2021 recruiting class, also punted in high school, but came to Texas here in 2021, redshirted. Last season, I mean, you had Bijan and Roshan there. So yeah, he was mainly a reserve through like 7 games. So it didn't even come into this season as the starter. He was behind Baxter, who was like the first true freshman starting running back since Ricky Williams. But he got hurt in the first game, and Brooks, he played his way up the depth chart. He entered the opener as running back 2, and he has taken the ball, ran with it, hasn't looked back ever since. He has been stellar for the Longhorns. But I mean, with such little mileage on him, I mean, I feel like you could probably come back and try to increase your stock. But again, I'm not positive how high that ceiling might be for him because I don't think he is an elite athlete. Like, he's very much a straight line runner. He's not very dynamic as a ball carrier. He's not going to give you that shimmy or that shake. He's not going to... He just doesn't have great lateral ability, in my opinion. Even though that he can like rattle off these big runs, I think a lot of that is just because good acceleration. His launch speed, I am still a bit like, I don't think he's like fast, you know? And when it comes to a pass catching standpoint, like his hand's very inconsistent. 16.7 drop rate this season. So not exactly ideal for the receiving part of the passing game. I mean, where this kind of comes in, if you want to kind of like get him better as receivers, he's a very good pass blocker. And the NFL loves that. But very tough as a runner. With that 207, like he eats and churns through contact like nobody's business. He's able to power through arm tackles to get to the second level. And I just love the contact balance. I love just how hard he runs. He shows very good patience and vision. He never overstays his welcome in the backfield. Plays with, so to speak, loose ankles. Like, he can turn that corner if you give it to him, or he'll just cut it upfield and get going in a hurry because he does have pretty solid acceleration. So there's things I like about him, but I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I'll be intrigued to see exactly what he does. Dude had a tutty this weekend. He what do you call it? He where's the word I'm looking at? He got a touchdown this weekend that he devoted. Okay, let's go with devoted or honored his father with. I don't know if that's the correct word I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. So you love to see it. You're gonna hear me talk about him when we get to the running back class and my prospect rankings, but yeah, be fair, like a couple of other running backs had pretty solid days. Marshawn Lloyd, just because he got a little banged up in the Arizona game, I didn't want to kind of mention him here, but he had a pretty solid game. I think he led college football in forced missed tackles this past week. All right, let's talk about those hog mollies as I got Blake Fisher as a baller. And I think his last couple of games haven't been that great. I didn't think he was that, like, I thought he was whatever against Duke after having a solid game against Ohio State. And then he just kind of wasn't good against Louisville. He allowed 5 pressures, 2 sacks. And to be fair, Joe Alt wasn't perfect either, but at least he was much better than Blake Fisher was. So he's now coming off back-to-back games where it's like, okay, are we still talking about a guy that just has all these crazy athletic traits and physical traits? Like, you love the length, you love the size at 6'6", 312, very good mover, but like, I don't think it's all come together for him yet. And I mean, quite frankly, probably stay another year there at school and move over to left tackle if you want him to, but like, I feel like he's still putting it together. We're what, 3 years? Let's see. No. This is his second year as a full-time starter. And I still feel like he's putting it together. Like, the dude plays with terrible pad level. Like, he's playing high, which he's just giving up leverage at that point. He's inconsistent on his kick slide, which was a big problem in this game. And I do feel like he does overextend. He plays out in front of himself, but I mean, you can say that about a lot of offensive tackles. But I initially had him in the day 2 area. I think I had him as a top 50 guy coming into the season, thinking a lot of that would start clicking for him. But as of right now, I don't think it has. So, like, he is someone that has moved down my board for the time being. Well, let's talk about a riser here. And we're talking about first rounder. Jordan Morgan has been impressive this season. He allowed no pressures, no sacks against USC on 46 passing snaps. He has been wonderful. Like, what wonderful. Coming in at 6'6", 320, Might not have ideal length, but I think he'll probably be in that 33 inch range. But you love this dude's movement skills. Like, he's got the power in his frame. I feel like he's starting to learn how to use it. He keeps a good low pad level. Even when he gets to the second level, you see that just explosive power from him. He understands blocking angles and whatnot. Again, did I already mention the movement skills? They're really good with this cat. And we legitimately, I think this cat's going to be a first rounder at this point. At the very least, a top 50 prospect. Like, I was like going through reshuffling my tackle rankings, and I've had a couple of risers here, but I don't think anyone, opposed to one other person, which I'll talk about when we get to my tackle rankings, has impressed me as much as Jordan Morgan thus far this season. He has been great. And yes, I stayed up late to watch that stinking USC Arizona game because it was a local game for me. And 3 overtimes, man. Hell of a game, man. I actually want to stick with this game with a couple of other prospects. I'm going to talk about the wide receiver position. I'm going to talk about Jacob Cohen out of U of A. Had a big game, 4 tutties last night. It almost had a 2-point conversion to win the game in overtime too. And I'll talk more about that that play when I talk about the next prospect here on this list. But he has been amazing since showing up here at Arizona. Like, he was, if you don't know, he was formerly from Utah. I know you look at the size, 5'11", 175. Oh my God, he's so small. But hey, receivers are getting smaller nowadays. Like, the average height and weight of receivers getting smaller because teams are valuing that speed. And boy, does Cohen got that. Former 2-star recruit from the 2019 class out of Maricopa, Arizona. So just a little north of me. But he went to UTEP, was almost immediately a starter through like 3 seasons there. He was a first-team All-Conference USA in 2021 before he transferred to Arizona. Started all 12 games in the slot last season, and he's still predominantly playing in the slot. So I just view him as a slot player, a guy that, like, if you look, he's only played 23.5% of the time on the outside as a receiver. He's a slot dude. He really, really is. The dude's a fast, smooth athlete. Does a great job of setting up and selling routes. Knows how to fluctuate that speed, go through the gears. And like last night, one of his touchdowns was just this nice where he was like, all right, I'm gonna come off the line a little slow, hit you with speed, and then I'm gonna kind of work back to the ball as it's thrown to like the front pylon of the end zone there. And I think it was like a 30-yard touchdown where he just able to find and get that separation. And I was impressed because he more so used physicality to do that. Now you look at size, and yeah, ideally you want to bulk up. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal though. Again, we're kind of trending to smaller receivers, though I don't think his release package is that impressive, or at least impressive enough for the outside. But I had to mention this cat, man. He had such a great game. I thought he was, I had him initially evaluated last season because I thought he might come out. And this year he has moved up my board. Very good year from him. And now I could talk about Keon Buck because he had one heck of a game last night. Did allow a tutty because it was a bit of a shootout, but he had the pass breakup, which you could see here in the picture, that basically forced triple overtime. Where honestly, if the ball was because initially he was beat by Cohen because Cohen got that quickness. He got out of his route super quick. And if the quarterback just kind of like led him further to the sideline of the end zone and maybe put a little bit more on it. But regardless, like Keon Buck showed that recovery speed. Like, okay, this guy's got me beat. I know the ball's coming this way. I got to get there. And he got there. He was impressive. 8 tackles last night. And this is a safety class right now where I feel like we got Cam Kitchens. He's kind of like a blue chip in the safety class. Tyler Nubbin had an extremely strong start to the year. Everyone's talking about those guys as safety 1, safety 2. And Keon Buck gets lost in the sauce here, which is terrible because he is easily safety 3 for me. He's a top 50 guy for me. And you love the movement skills. He plays with kind of reckless abandon. He comes downhill with a head of steam. It's like, hey, I'm not. He put on some bulk. He was, I think, last season 180. He's like, hey, might not be the biggest guy, but I'm gonna lay a lick. Like, you're gonna have to like power through all 190 of me. And I love that about him. I love how he just attacks downfield with that viciousness. He already has 5 pass breakups on the season. He's been having a solid year. We need to talk about this guy more because he's so freaking good. And like these top 3 safeties in this class are really good, really good. And yeah, Galen Bullock, you just made the list. All right, moving on to Germaine Burton. Had a banger of a game against Texas A&M. Tore the top off of Texas A&M and poor Josh DeBerry. But 9 receptions for 198 yards. He had 2 tutties in there. He's coming in at 6 foot, 194. I really think he is really just a vertical threat type of guy. Like take the top off the defense type of guy because he's got legit speed. You saw that when he was initially with Georgia. Now he's here with Alabama. Last year they kind of just made him this screen slant go guy, and now they're kind of using him on a bigger route tree, which you love to see it. And he's made the most of it, man. He is really, really impressed. Again, has that legit speed. I love his hands. He does a good job of securing the ball in his hands and catching while still in stride, kind of making it one big motion. Catch, turn upfield, go. I will say, I don't think he's a contested ball guy. Like, he doesn't always demonstrate like the most natural ball skills. But nonetheless, man, this is a cat that you're looking for the big play threat from. And I mean, this is such a loaded wide receiver class. We're probably talking about Germaine Burton more as this, like, let's go with like early day 3. Like I'm feeling 4th, 5th round, about right for him right now. But man, he's gonna test out really, really well. And then the final guy on my list is Latu. He's almost single-handedly not destroyed, but he took a big chunk out of that hype train that was Cameron Ward last season. And coming into the year, man, like we knew like this guy was amazing last season for UCLA. Like the pass rush win rate was nuts. It was bonkers, it was insane. Had a big year, decides to come back. He's rinsing and repeating. 7 pressures and a sack in this game with a forced fumble. Good size at 6'5", 265. But he's probably the best finesse pass rusher in this class. And I kind of do want to see like the power profile of him get a little bit better, see a little bit more anchor in the run. But the biggest red flag with him is that neck, man. It really, really is. Now he got treated by Peyton Manning's doctor who took care of Peyton's neck back in the day. But Washington wouldn't clear him. They weren't comfortable with him playing. So like that's something that's gonna be a big thing at the combine. So we're gonna have to kind of wait and see how that goes. But like I think we could talk about him in the first round area. He kind of deserves that just with the production. 25 pressures, 5 sacks. This season's already kind of ludicrous. I think the win rate's right up there as it was last season. So doing a stellar job. He even has an interception this year. It's just wild. Good on you, my friend. Good on you. Do want to see him clean up the missed tackles as well. But that's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing. Let me know who are some of the guys maybe I left off of this list. Remember, we're talking all of college football. I can't talk about everybody, but I'm willing to talk to you about them in the comment section below. So let's go ahead and have that discussion. But as always, until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.